George Romney was an English portrait painter. He was the most fashionable artist of his day, painting many leading society figures, including his artistic muse, Emma Hamilton, mistress of Lord Nelson. Early life and training. Romney was born in Beckside in Dalton-in-Furness, Lancashire, the third son of John Romney, cabinet maker, and Anne Simpson. Raised in a cottage named High Cocken in modern-day Barrow-in-Furness, he was sent to school at nearby Dendron. He appears to have been an indifferent student and was withdrawn at the age of 11 and apprenticed to his father's business instead. He proved to have a natural ability for drawing and making things from wood, including violins. From the age of 15, he was taught art informally by a local watchmaker called John Williamson, but his studies began in earnest in 1755, when he went to Kendal, at the age of 21, for a 4-year apprenticeship with local artist Christopher Steele, a portraitist who had himself studied with distinguished French artist Carlo Vanloo. All costs were to be borne by George's father. In October 1756, Romney married Mary Abbott, but the couple were immediately separated when he was called away to York on business by his employer. After a year, Steele eventually agreed to cancel the apprenticeship, at George's request, leaving the young artist, now a father of a son, free to pursue his own career as a painter. Work. Cumbria. In 1757, Romney rejoined his wife and young son in Kendal, working as a portraitist, landscape and historical painter. In this period he became friends with Adam Walker, the inventor and writer, and also pursued musical interests in his spare time. In March 1762, he parted from his wife, son and daughter, to seek his fortune in London, where he stayed until 1799. Throughout the separation, he maintained contact with his family and financially supported him, but they never lived with him in the capital, London. In 1763, Romney entered his painting, The Death of General Wolfe, into a Royal Society of Arts competition. According to friends of Romney, he was awarded the second prize of 50 guineas, but this was later reduced to 25 guineas on questionable grounds. It is said that Sir Joshua Reynolds himself was the prime mover behind this decision, a fact which may have accounted for the lifelong aversion of the two men for each other. Despite his later success, Romney was never invited to join the Royal Academy of Arts, though he was asked, urged even, to exhibit there, nor did he ever apply to join. This decision certainly cost him valuable royal patronage and support from others connected at court. While there has been much speculation about his actual relationship with the Academy, there is no doubt that he normally remained aloof, maintaining that of good artists should succeed without being a member. His own career supported this belief, and it was only towards the end of his life that he expressed the slightest regret for his views. His early years in the capital were something of a struggle financially. In September 1764, he travelled to Paris for a few weeks to study the works of the old masters. In 1765 he again won the second prize of 50 guineas in the Royal Society of Arts competition. In 1768, he made the acquaintance of Richard Cumberland, the dramatist, whose portrait he painted, and who was helpful in introducing him to influential patrons. He also became friends with miniature painter Ozias Humphrey. 1769 was a breakthrough year. He exhibited a large portrait of Sir George Warren and family at the Free Society of Artists, which was greatly admired and helped to lay the foundations of his future popularity. In 1770 he started to exhibit his work at the Chartered Society of Artists, the rival Free Society of Artists. Italy. By 1772 Romney was financially secure enough to make the journey to Italy to study the great artists of the past, as he had always intended. He set off in March, making his way through Europe and arriving in Rome in June. A letter of introduction allowed him to meet the Pope, Clement XIV, who allowed him to set up scaffolding in the Vatican to study the frescoes of Raphael. He spent 18 months in Rome making studies and sketches of the great artworks on view there. He returned to London in July 1775 after an absence of over 2 years. Later career. On his return, in 1775, Romney moved to Cavendish Square, in a house formerly owned by noted portraitist Francis Coates. He was considerably in debt, not only on his own account but also due to being saddled with the debt of his artistic but dissolute brother Peter. Fortunately, he was offered commissions by the Duke of Richmond and his circle of friends, which helped turn the tide of fortune permanently in the artist's favor. In 1776–77, he made the acquaintance of William Haley, striking up a lasting friendship with the writer, and painting portraits for him. 1782 was the beginning of an important new chapter in Romney's life, for in that year he was first introduced to Emma Hamilton, who became his muse. He painted over 60 portraits of her in various poses, sometimes playing the part of historical or mythological figures. He also painted many other contemporaries, including fellow artist Mary Moser. In 1797 Romney left his studio at 32 Cavendish Square, where he had worked for more than 20 years, to move to Hollybush Hill in Hampstead. In Hampstead, Romney embarked on a series of costly building projects, and sold the house 2 years later. Romney's house is now a Grade I listed building, and Romney is commemorated by a blue plaque placed on the property. In the summer of 1799, his health broken, and after an absence of almost 40 years, Romney returned to his wife, Mary, in Kendal. She nursed him during the remaining 2 years of his life until he died in November 1802. He was buried in the churchyard of St. Mary's Parish Church, Dalton-in-Furness. George Romney is a kinsman of American businessman and politicians George W. Romney and Mitt Romney. Their ancestor Miles Romney was George Romney's first cousin. Public collections of works. Romney's work is on display at many museums and art galleries in the UK, North America and elsewhere. UK and Ireland: Abbott Hall Art Gallery, Kendal Town Hall, Ashmolean Museum, Courtauld Institute of Art, Dorset County Museum, Dulwich Picture Gallery, National Portrait Gallery, London, National Maritime Museum, Tate Gallery, Wallace Collection, Falmouth Art Gallery, Fitzwilliam Museum, Dalton Castle, Manchester City Art Gallery, National Museum Cardiff, National Museums Liverpool, New Art Gallery, National Galleries of Scotland, Crawford Municipal Art Gallery, United States and Canada Ackland Art Museum, Art Gallery of the University of Rochester, Art Institute of Chicago, Beaver Brick Art Gallery, Blanton Museum of Art, Brigham Young University Museum of Art, Carnegie Museum of Art, Dallas Museum of Art, Detroit Institute of Arts, the Fine Arts Museums of San Francisco, Robert Hull Fleming Museum, Frick Collection, the Getty Museum, Harvard University Art Museums, Honolulu Museum of Art, Huntington Library, the Kimball Art Museum, the Los Angeles County Museum of Art, Metropolitan Museum of Art, Museum of Fine Arts, Houston, Museum of Fine Arts, Boston, National Gallery of Art, Norton Simon Museum, Philadelphia Museum of Art, Wadsworth Atheneum, Phoenix Art Museum, National Gallery of Canada, Folger Shakespeare Library. Elsewhere: Dunedin Public Art Gallery, Hermitage Museum, Louvre, Musée des Beaux-Arts, National Gallery of Victoria, MASP Gallery. Young Man with a Flute, late 1760s Dallas Museum of Art, Granville Levison Gower S. Children, 1776–7. Portrait of Miss Juliana Willoughby, 1781–88. Lady Hamilton as Circe, 1782. Macbeth and the Witches, 1785. Emma Hamilton as a Bacchante, 1785. John Henderson as Macbeth, 1787. Major General Sir Archibald Campbell KB, of Inverness, 1790–1792. The Infant Shakespeare, Attended by Nature and the Passions, 1791 to 1792. Lady Hamilton as Titania with Puck and Changeling, 1793.